Hanoi, the capital city of Vietnam, is going to celebrate its 1000th birthday anniversary. And with its graceful, ancient, and peaceful features, Hanoi City is truly the pride of Hanoians and those coming here to live. And for the expatriates community coming here, Hanoi does give them special feelings and experiences. And in our show for today, we'll meet with a Canadian guide who will give us his stories about living in Hanoi. Hanoi City, the capital of Vietnam. For 1,000 years, despite the ups and downs of history, the city's ancient beauty remains preserved. Hanoi's heritage remains the pride of every person living in the city, and it is an attractive destination to explore. Thomas Gleason, a Canadian, first came to Vietnam as a tourist. Traveling around the world for the past decade, Thomas found something special in the city and decided to stay for a while.
I come from Canada. I actually came to Hanoi on holidays, and I'm discovering Hanoi each day as it comes. Hanoi is very diverse. Depends where you go. You could go to the old quarter. It depends what you like. You could go to the old quarter. It's very noisy, very busy, very touristy. You could go here to Troop Back Lake. It's a little more quiet, almost like countryside setting. Hanoi has many different facets, different views, and whoever you are, I notice you feel comfortable wherever you feel comfortable. That's where your home is. But Hanoi, it depends on my feeling and my mood. Wherever I am, there's somewhere special for me in Hanoi.
The city of Hamilton in Ontario, Canada, is where Thomas Gleason spent most of his life. Of the brothers and sisters in the family, he pursued a career as a negotiator. He worked for the Canadian Office of the Attorney General in Electronic Courthouse and then taught aviation English for air controllers around the world.
I got my pilot's license when I was 16 and my driver's license in Canada when I was 17. I flew small aircraft, Cessnas and Cherokees. They're very one engine, two engine. And then it was a hobby. And it's only just recently, just quite by accident, that they needed someone who was an expert in teaching English about 4 years ago and also was a pilot or an air traffic controller. And it's just by chance that career came up. I've been through about 5 or 6 career changes now, and each one, there's always a part of me.
Though the career of an examiner for aviation English is not something he planned on, Thomas still devotes much of his efforts and time for it. And he even invented his own learning method known as Dr. VIP. He also wrote a song about it.
Feeling like I have been had, nothing thought, nothing said. I've got nothing in my head. I am running out of time and it's 11:15. I am doing my eyes exam and I have to get the 7. Dr. VIP says to use my PC. Family stress, school home view. Fishy, 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 can't you see? Just call me up, Dr. VIP.
For a long time, Thomas has been enthusiastic about this hobby, directing and producing documentaries. Since he started his hobby, Thomas has completed a number of documentaries. These works cover a variety of issues from the controversies surrounding genetic engineering to trends among local youth.
Papers, for God's sake. Just read the papers that come out in biotechnology. Over and over again, what you find is they say, we did this manipulation and we thought we would get this result, and we got something completely unexpected.
I'm Andrew Fier and I'm 13.
Mariette.
Christina.
I'm Daniel.
I'm Sean.
Jennifer.
Katia.
Eugene Scott.
Antonille, and I'm 12 years old.
Photographer.
Psychologist.
Music producer, but that's kind of hard, you know.
Probably be a plumber.
Lawyer.
Carmen Electra.
Freddie Prinze Jr.
Probably Shakira or Britney Spears.
Josh Hartnett.
Tia Carrera.
Eminem.
Britney Spears.
Those big buildings at night and all the lights.
How everything's close.
A lot of rec centers.
I don't really like Toronto, so.
For multicultural.
Multiculturalism.
Multicultural.
Get to meet the best of all worlds.
Despite traveling around the world, Thomas never gave up his hobby. When not working, he spent hours on his laptop editing documentaries he filmed in other countries. Thomas is currently working to complete a film he's made during the time he lived in Argentina.
In Argentina, I noticed there was a lot of poverty. There were a lot of street children, especially in the train station when I arrived in Argentina. And I saw the children aged 9, 10, 11 begging for money. And they were actually not only begging for money, they were hungry. They were really hungry. Not just, it was not a business. They were very hungry. And I thought something has to be done. So I got in touch with a film school, and I told them that I had done some directing of some short films and documentaries. And all of a sudden, I said, I want to help. They all came out of the woodwork, and they all helped me as volunteers to produce a documentary about the street children in Argentina. And hopefully, I'd like to show this in a festival, and hopefully do similar work in other countries.
In 2008, a devastating 7.9 magnitude earthquake hit Sichuan province, a mountainous region in western China, killing about 70,000 people and leaving over 18,000 missing. At that time, Thomas was there and he felt he should do something.
In China, we started a theater group, and during the theater presentations we did, there was a devastating earthquake that happened in Sichuan province. 75,000 people died, and I watched on television. It was very traumatic to watch, and I thought we have to do something. So our group decided to raise money to buy prosthetic devices, artificial limbs for children who lost their arms and legs in the earthquake. And we raised some money for that, and we all combined our talents to give back to the community. So that's what we did in China. Our organization was nonprofit, all Chinese people.
With the performance of his theater group, Thomas raised a few $1,000s, which went towards helping some dozen children. The money was not much, but it's an example of his attachment to the community.
I think when you go from one language to another, you end up with ideas and expressions.
As a film and theater director, Thomas also loves writing, and that's why he chose to join the Hanoi Writers Collective, a club for writers in Hanoi.
I joined a similar group in China, and wherever I travel, I try to find a group that enjoys writing, and it allows for me to meet other writers from all over the world. I saw it online on New Hanoian. They meet often, and they invite poets, They invite playwrights, short story writers, basically people that enjoy writing, and writing is one of my hobbies.
This amateur writers club was formed by Jennifer Fossenbell, an American writer. From the first 3 members, the club now includes a dozen Vietnamese and expats in Hanoi.
My idea came from a workshop group that I was a part of in my home city of Denver, Colorado in the USA, and it was specifically a group for poets, but after I moved to Hanoi and I was here for some time, I really began to miss that group. And so actually it was a bit of a selfish thing. I wanted to have a group to write with and to exchange ideas about writing. So I tried to find something like that in Hanoi, and I couldn't find anything that was already happening, so I just started the group myself.
Every second Sunday of the month, members of the club meet up around Hanoi. Here, they discuss about works which they have circulated among the group beforehand. Then everyone spends some time writing a piece of prose or poetry, and then they can read it out to others so that members can provide feedback.
I caught his eyes still on me. I've been looking at something just above your head.
When you're writing a story, it's a very private thing and very personal, and it's only you who knows about all the characters in your story, and then suddenly you're sharing it with 10 people and getting their thoughts and feedback on it, and it's really, it can be very nervous waiting to hear what they say, but then it can be really exciting when they give you positive feedback.
Hanoian expats have a range of activities to join, and the Writers Club is a big favorite with its participants. Theater is an important part in Thomas' everyday life. Soon after arriving in Vietnam, Thomas set up an amateur theater group. The usual meeting place is at Pugu Cafe on Dong Si Tân Street.
Wherever I go and I stay a long time, I start a theater group. I was in China for 3 years, and so if I stay a short period of time, I don't start a theater group. I plan to stay in Vietnam for a long time, so I just started this theater group, and I want to do it in a similar way I did it in China.
With years of experience in theater, Thomas knows how to make members understand more about acting and get involved in different activities. His enthusiasm wipes any newcomer's reservations.
Come on, you gotta talk, you gotta say something. Give me a situation. What's happening?
This is a social activity that makes people become closer. Many people now are busy with their work and have less time to socialize with others. This theater group is useful for Vietnamese youth, especially those who want to learn English.
Mình cũng đã từng tham gia một cái khóa học diễn xuất của hãng phim truyền hình. Và trên thực tế là cũng có tham gia một số những cái vai phụ trong
I have attended a training class for acting, and in fact, I have acted in some TV series. I love acting. This is the first time I've visited this theater group, but I already like the games and the situations Thomas created. It's really interesting to me and for all of us.
You copy me. See, I do this, okay? You do this, right? So
before attending the group, hardly anyone knew that Thomas had theatrical talent. And now, having become members, they realize Thomas has further plans for this.
You have to guess who is doing the Tai Chi, and if you guess wrong, you're out. Who's doing it? Who's the person who's doing Tai Chi? Everybody's following. Who is it? Quickly. You have 1 minute. 1 minute. This theater group is mostly all Vietnamese people, and we try to combine our talents to help the community. Basically, what are we going to do with the money that we raise? Well, bring it back to the community, basically to give it back to children in need in Hanoi, whether it be in a hospital, in a burn unit, in a cancer ward, but basically we're devoted to helping children in the community, whether it be Hanoi or in the outskirts of Hanoi. So we want to use our talents and give back to the community.
It takes Thomas little time to adapt to new environments. Within a short period, Thomas has made friends with many local youth who want to help him in his work and his journey to discover Vietnam.
I love food, and there's a lot of choices for food in Hanoi. I like hot pots because I'm used to that in China. And when you get a group together, especially in China when it gets cold, cold weather and a hot pot brings people together. Today is not so cold, but it still brings people together. And you don't have to worry about she likes shrimp and he likes meat and he likes chicken. You just put it together and something beautiful comes out of it.
He might have left Canada behind some time ago, but homesickness is not a big problem for Thomas. Here in Vietnam, he has found a new home and new people to take care of. Spending most of his time for his filmmaking, directing and theater, Thomas still spares a little time to discover the culture of Vietnam.
I find a lot of expats, what they do is they try to cocoon themselves and live in a bubble, you know, like in a cocoon, and they don't really explore the Vietnamese culture. I'm a person that tries to step outside my own little expat culture and try to get out of my comfort zone, try new ideas. Even if I don't know the language, there's a lot of ways that I could communicate just by using body language. And you meet new friends and you could have interesting conversations without even opening your mouth.
Walking through streets in Old Quarter, communicating with local residents, and seeing with his own eyes the typical cultural features of Vietnam, Thomas is integrating himself into the local environment.
The thing I like is the people are very friendly. That's number one thing. And you feel safe. People are very hospitable, and they'll try to smile or to even teach you a little bit of Vietnamese. So every time you try to communicate with a Vietnamese person, they always give back with a smile.
This Canadian man is doing everything he can to turn himself into a new Hanoian. And that's the stories of Thomas Giglio and his life in Hanoi. Hope you enjoy it, but don't forget to send us your comment or idea to expertliving@vtv.gov.vn. Thank you and see you next time.